Don't you hate wrestling with predictability? The garbage man, the sexy boy, boring ass TV? How did I get to work in here? Somebody tell me, please. The WWF is confusing to me. With Vince as mean as you've ever seen. I told old Patterson I'm done here in June. When a sudden voice inside me whispered, Vinny, don't sell your dream so soon. And everywhere I look, there's a Ted with a hand to hold on to. And everywhere I look, there's a place and a promotion who needs you. And it's there you'll book when you're lost out there and you're all alone. And WCW's waiting to carry you home. It's there you'll book. And it's there I'll book. A doobity-ba-ba-ba, headed to Atlanta and listen to this podcast. It's all right, even though it fucking makes fun of everything I've ever done.
Backbone Wrestling Network. Welcome back to episode 45 of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? Joining me as always is Logan Crossland, the backbone of the backbone. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, we're only 5 away from 50, so we're chugging right along. Getting ever closer and closer to Great American Bash 2000. So I'm doing fine. Work was a little rough today, but happy to be here with you talking some shitty wrestling. So
I mean, that's all we talk is shitty wrestling now, Logan. Besides when we talk on Are You Smarter Than Dave Meltzer?
Yeah, there you go. Meltzer knows best.
Meltzer knows best, which
I think we'll have premiered the day before this drops. So
yeah, the first episode will have dropped by now. It's Logan, Keithy, and Sean. They go over a 5-star match from Meltzer and see if it is truly 5 stars. I will be on episode 3. Hint, hint. So yeah, be sure to check it out. I'm sure it'll be serious at first, and then the wheels will fall off probably on episode 3. So we'll just see what happens. But yeah,
can't imagine why.
I think it's probably Sean, but yeah, it's the newest edition. Backbone is taking over for Linking Up Lucha, which sadly came to an end. It's nice to see a podcast come to an end, Logan. I was laying in bed last night, and I was trying to figure out how long it would take for us to finish this, and I just gave up because I was like, it takes us 8 episodes to do a whole month, 9 episodes, including the pay-per-view, and I was like, that's 2 months right there. So it's like, yeah. Charlotte might be in middle school by the time this is all said and done.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll take us a few years for sure.
Yeah, but I'm just shocked we're at 45 episodes. Like, it's been a labor of love. Thank you for thank you for the listeners, and thank you, Logan, for watching the show, because sometimes it's a lot. Logan watches the show in one sitting. I have to go through 2 sittings and watch the show because my brain overloads from all of taking notes and just everything that happens. So yeah, just want to say thank you to everyone. But let's kick off this episode. It's the 524 2000 Thunder. Let's run down the championships before we kick off. The world champion is Jeff Jarrett. He got it given to him last week on Nitro because Flair had a brain aneurysm. That's what Vince Russo's claiming. Our U.S. champ is Scott Steiner. The title's been MIA and not a misfit in action. The title's been MIA.
Yeah.
For quite a bit now. Our tag champs are Chronic, who it seems like when they were not the tag champs, that's when they had the belts more, and I saw them more. Since after they won the titles, they've been sort of MIA as well. The Cruiserweight champion is Daphne, as we saw on Nitro, and the Hardcore champ is Terry Funk, but he got his title stolen by Shane Douglas, but that's not a registered title change. So we'll see if any of these titles change hands tonight. They've been playing hot potato. Logan said that there was 3 world title changes going to happen on a show coming up. We'll see if it happens on this show or if it's the next show, Logan. I'm not sure, but let's find out. So show kicks off. We see highlights of Nitro with Funk saying he's resigned to June 1st, 2001. The Flair funeral, the Asylum match with Scott Steiner, the David and Reed segment, Vampiro about to light Hogan on fire, but Sting saved him, and then the end of the Nitro with the bloodbath, which went sort of wrong, as we talked about. And then the show starts, and we see Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash pull up. Kevin Nash is in a FUBU shirt, which just amazing. Rocking a FUBU jersey. This man is just amazing. But we get the Thunder intro video. The pyro kicks off, and Tony welcomes us in. We are in Saginaw, Michigan. He talks about the Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash alliance, which they've been loosely aligned since January, Logan, with the NWO. And then they sort of like when they put Scott with the New Blood, that's when I guess Quasi broke up, but like been no bad beef between them at all. So it makes sense with them being together. But instead of Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash coming out comes Chris Candido and Tammy. He grabs a mic and says it feels good to be the first couple of sports entertainment. Chris said he's the luckiest guy alive, then calls out a fat fan. He tells Tammy that he loves her. Tammy says, here's some advice for all the women in the crowd. If you want your man to want you as much as they want me, you got to look like me. She then does a horrible strip tease with horrible stripper music, Logan. This girl has no rhythm. But then I get upset because the Taff Cappy's music hits. My note here is, fuck, I was hoping he'd be gone. Then Tony talks about Daphne being the Cruiserweight champion. Paisley gets on the mic and presents everyone who really came to see, which is Taff Cappy, which I can tell you no one came to see Taff Cappy, not even Taff Cappy's parents. I thought this was going to be a one-on-one match. Spoiler, it's not. We go backstage, and Mean Gene is with Daphne. She's saying that he says that Daphne will have to defend their Cruiserweight title in a triple threat match tonight. Gene asks where David Flair is. Daphne ignores him, but she's wearing a black wedding dress. And she says, I wanted a ring, not that ring, but says it's okay and just walks off. And as she walks off, she's singing, Here Comes the Bride. So Daphne comes out, leads us to match 1, which is Chris Candido with Tammy versus Taff Cappy with Paisley and Daphne versus Daphne for the Cruiserweight title. The match starts and everyone's in the ring, women included. And like the women pair off, not Paisley and Tammy pair off when they're fighting. Daphne just watches Taff Cappy and Chris Candido fight. Then Miss Hancock comes out. But then Chris hits a clothesline on Taff Cappy, and but then goes for a pin, but Daphne breaks it up. Then Taff Cappy hits a Samoan drop on Chris and went for a pin again, but Daphne breaks it up. Then Chris and Taff Cappy literally double close on each other, knock each other out like they've been wrestling for 45 minutes, like MJF and Kenny Omega. And they're both knocked out somehow 35 seconds in, but Daphne tries to pin both, but both kick out. Taff Cappy then picks up Daphne and hits a drop toe hold, and then Chris comes off the ropes with a leg drop. Then they fight over who's going to be the one to pin Daphne. Crowbar runs down, and he vaults his way into the ring because they still have the aisleway set up, and he takes out Taff Cappy, and they fight outside the ring. Tammy then gets up on the aisle and whispers something to Miss Hancock and gives her some money. Tammy then gets Miss Hancock's clipboard, and everyone knows where this is going. Chris drags Daphne over so Tammy can hit Daphne with the clipboard, but Daphne ducks. Chris is hit and it knocks him out. Clipboard doesn't even break, guys. And Daphne wins by pure luck. So somehow we have two champions who somehow win the same way, which is just pure luck. Great originality, Vince Russo. You're fucking knocking it out of the park 3 minutes into the show. Logan, this and to make matters even worse, Tammy literally somehow gets stuck on the ropes as she's trying to break up the pin. Like, it's just horrible bad acting. Tammy is just better as a valet, should not be involved in wrestling at all. She just can't do it, or it's just bad. WWF did it right by her, but they were trying to make her involved. But this is just a god awful match, Logan.
Yeah, you're continuing to throw a non-worker out there as the cruiserweight champion. What should be the workers belt, you would think, in the grand scheme of things. But that's what happens when you have a bunch of non-workers in there. You have Tammy in there, you have Paisley in there, you have Daphne in there, and it's not because they're women, so don't get on my case, anybody that's listening out there. But they're just not trained to wrestle, and they're all really bad at the whole wrestling thing and being involved in fighting and stuff like that. Candido and IK try to do some things, but this is mostly about kind of the shenanigans that go on around Daphne trying to take advantage of every opportunity she can kind of get into. But yeah, that clipboard shot was nasty. I mean, it makes a crack, and like you said, it doesn't break or bend whatsoever. It just smokes poor Candido over the head with it. I will give Candido credit. I did love him selling it as he was going up the aisleway to the back. So I did appreciate that from Candido. But yeah, that clipboard shot was nasty. But yeah, this was, as long as Daphne's the champ and they don't, disguise the match somehow to kind of not feature her very much. I mean, a triple threat's probably not a bad idea, but she needs to kind of be taken out and then maybe come in later in the match. But as long as she's a focal point or, kind of a main point of these matches, they're probably not going to be very good.
Not good at all.
I mean, it's not her fault either. So,
yeah, like she's just not a trained wrestler. She's more like she might be later. Like I don't know. I'm not familiar with her game, to be completely honest. But it's really like you said. But Vince Russo obviously does not like the cruiserweight title. We've talked about this before because in January the main feud was Oklahoma Medusa for the cruiserweight title. So it's like he doesn't care. And like I'd much rather have Crowbar, even though he's not technically a cruiserweight, be cruiserweight champion. Like it would just work so much better. But sadly, this is the hand that we're dealt, Logan, with picking this up as we're 45 episodes into the show. So there you go. So we go backstage, and Russo is scared of Steiner and Nash. Russo is asking Bischoff and like the Cat and Kimberly to help. Eric says this is a you problem, and Eric says he's got his own problem with Hogan. Russo asks Cat to watch Liz. Cat says he doesn't want to do it. So they make Kimberly do it. And then Kimberly, who's basically like just a bitch now, says, how will this make me money? And like, that's like, they're kind of like pushing DDP down the card a little bit. Like he's still a main eventer, but he's not like the focal point. That kind of lost like track with like him and the divorce angle. Like we see it sort of reignited tonight, but it seems like it's fading, Logan.
Yeah.
But then we go backstage again and we see Ralphus and Norman trying to sell like hygiene products such as toothbrush, shampoo, and he asks the franchise if he'd like some. Franchise says, I don't want any of your shit. And then he says he's looking for an opponent tonight and says it's me versus you two. Norman says we are fired. Shane says, let me talk to Eric. Eric owes me a favor. Norman tries to give Shane some lotion and he says it's great for getting rid of ringworm. All right.
That was a tongue twister. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Elix Skipper was one of the R&B securities in Bischoff's office.
I knew they looked familiar.
I didn't get a good look at the other guy, but Skipper was definitely a guy on the right.
Is he the one later tonight that Kimberly talks to as well?
No,
both those guys look familiar.
That was a different guy, but Chris Harris was the other guy.
Okay, well, Chris Harris shows up tonight. I was like, damn, this dude looks familiar. I even have a note that says Logan will know.
Yeah, the African American fella in the second one, I don't think I didn't recognize him. He might be somebody, but I think that guy was in the. I think he was the other guy with Skipper in this one because it was two black guys for sure.
Okay.
And I know Skipper was the guy on the right, and then we go later and Kim's with two of them, and I think it's the one black guy, and then Chris Harris was the other one.
Yeah, he looks super young, and he wasn't fat yet, so that's how I didn't know it wasn't Chris Harris.
Yeah, very young for sure.
Yes. So we have a commercial break, and if you thought we were going to backstage, or if you thought we were going to the ring, nope, we're going backstage. We see Kimberly and Liz while Kimberly's getting ready. She's like putting on makeup, even though she already has makeup on. She condescendingly says it's really sad what happened to Lex and how he needs a new face. She says that Eric said she'll have her own dressing room soon, and Eric says she needs her own assistant, and Kimberly says Liz will be her assistant, and then tells Liz to put some lotion on her back, which I thought this would turn into Liz like just putting lotion all over her head, but we don't go that route yet. But then Franchise comes out with the hardcore title, and he has a mic. They show how the Franchise stole the hardcore title with, Funk getting his ass beat on Monday. Franchise says Saginaw, Michigan, and says, "You people should give me a round of applause." Said he was going to accomplish something in WCW, knock some asses around, and says Funk got his ass franchised. Says he took out Funk by himself, which, and then he calls out Dick Flair and says he cut him out of WCW like a cancer. Says Dick Flair is gone. Basically doing his hits. Says he's going to give a couple of jabronis a payoff tonight. Says Norman and Ralphus together get a shot at the hardcore champ. Says bring out the jabronis. I think he just saw a Rock promo and just the way he was name dropping jabroni, Logan. But this leads us to match 2, which is the Franchise versus Norman and Ralphus for possession of the hardcore title. Notice I said not for the hardcore title, but for possession. Norman comes out with all the plunder. Ralphus is in his gorilla costume. Eric and the Cat are pissed. Eric says he can't go around them and give them a shot. Shane starts beating on Norman with the trash can, and the gorilla hides away from this. Shane has a kendo stick, and he beats down Norman, and then a trash can lid. Shane actually hits a sweet snapmare. Ralphus picks up the kendo stick and is like he's about to hit Shane, but he runs away. This allows Norman to hit Shane in the gut, then he hits him with the trash can lid. Ralphus throws the trash can lid down, so Shane grabs it and hits Norman with it, like he just doesn't want to do anything. Ralphus runs out of the ring. This allows Norman hits a slam on Shane, but Ralphus then goes for the pin but gets a 1. Norman does the big wiggle, but Shane kicks Norman in the nuts when he's trying to do it. We see Ralphus a scratch in his ass. Shane's just beating down Norman with the kendo stick. Ralphus keeps trying to get away from Shane, but Shane stalks him menacely. Then we'll go back to just whooping Norman's ass. Shane hits Norman with the neck breaker, and then he chokes him. Ralphus won't fight him, so Shane gets mad and kicks him straight in his ass. Shane picks up Norman and hits a stalling suplex, which was pretty nice. Ralphus looks like he's about to hit Shane again, but he's scared. Shane kicks Norman, but Ralphus finally gets his courage up, and he gets a lid, and he barely hits Shane with the lid. Shane looks at him like, what the fuck? Shane hits Ralphus, and then Shane throws Norman onto the entrance ramp, and they don't even battle out in the ring, but Shane throws Norman back in the ring immediately, and Ralphus tries to run away, but Shane chases him some, but stops. Guess he got winded. But then Ralphus goes back, and Norman, I guess in a blown spot, Logan, falls down before Shane can hit him with the chair. Shane had a chair and was like, Norman just took the bump, and then Shane just starts beating down Norman again. I have a note, how is this still going on? It's real ridiculous for what happens with this. Norman's unable to get advantage, and he's hitting Shane with the lid multiple times. Just gets a 2 count. Ralphus gets the table and set it up in the ring. Shane kicks Ralphus out of the ring after the table's set up. Shane wraps a chain around his fist and punches Norman, and then suplexes Norman through the table. Ralphus is able to pick up the chain, and he hits Shane with the punches, and then he picks up a chair and hits Shane with it. Ralphus pins Shane and takes off the gorilla mask, and it's Terry Funk. He gets his title back. Eric and Kat are pissed in the back. Eric says Kat needs to go Jackie Chan on his ass, and Kat says, "Who's Jackie Chan?" which popped me. But yeah, this match went way too long, Logan. It's just gratuitous kendo shots and trash lid shots the whole time. That's all it was. They could have done this match in 2 minutes flat, but it went 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't loved how they booked the hardcore division since we started the pod, particularly. And you know, I don't think anybody was ever going to do it as good as the WWE did during this time period and even a little bit before this. I think they had a good formula down, and it just wasn't particularly copyable unless you were willing to go to the links that they did with some of the skits and stuff that they went through. But yeah, this is just a bunch of, like you said, weapon shots, and like these matches should be short. Like, if you're going to do as many weapon shots as you're going to do, they need to be very effective and to the point. And it just needed to be like 2 or 3. I mean, it probably only ends up going like 4 or 5 minutes, but if even that. But it needs to be like 2.5 minutes maybe tops, just because of there's not much, there's not much to these matches. It's like you said, just a lot of weapon shots, a lot of maybe a move here or there, a lot of putting through tables and stuff like that. But the cutaways to Bischoff and Kat throughout the match, showing how pissed they are and stuff like that, was pretty funny. I do love this new gimmick from the Cat where he basically just repeats everything Bischoff says. He continues to do that throughout the night. I thought that was fairly funny. But yeah, the big swerve of Terry Funk being in the gorilla costume was pretty funny. So, but yeah, just way too long for what it was worth.
Yeah, like it's it real bad, Logan. Like they should not have. They should have only done like the like the tease with like Ralph isn't going to attack Shane like once, but they literally did it like 5 or 6 times. It's dumb. And
poor Norman just gets his ass beat.
Yeah, Norman's just getting his ass beat the whole time. It's like obviously they're stalling for time, but whatever. So after that, we see Russo walking with David and some old lady with R&B security. Russo says that we're going to talk about this monster kid. Tony asks who the lady is, and Bobby says it's Miss Michigan, which popped me.
People shit on Bobby and act like he lost his fastball. I won't say there's not like a lack of caring with him to some things, but he never lost the fastball, man. He always had it, and he always at least delivers one every show he's still on. So he may not be as great as he used to be, but you can't blame him for not caring about some of this shit. But he's definitely still got it at this point for me.
Yeah, and also like the fastball thing, it's like, well, he's older. Like it's like an older pitcher, Logan, who has to like change up his pitches some so he could still, be a good pitcher, and that's what he's doing. Like he gets the spots in, and like when he said it's Michigan, I fucking lost it. Like it was great. And then we see Nash and Scott walking. They have snowboard goggles on. I don't know why. Then they pull the snowboard goggles down, so it's like covering their eyes.
Because they got maced.
Well, yes, that's what they finally say later. But like at the time, I was like, "What the fuck are they doing?" But it makes sense. But a commercial break. We come back and we see a video of the David Flair, Russo, and Ric Flair drama. Russo, David Flair, Daphne, and the old lady come out. R&B security are out too. Tony says that Flair's health is still under speculation. He's not here tonight. Where he is unknown. Russo gets on the mic and says, "I need total silence tonight as Kevin Nash ripped my vocal cords out and I have no voice." If only. Russo says we'll have an expose tonight and says how we booed David on Monday and cheered that little punk Reed. Russo says you know who this old bag is here, and Bobby says it's Okerlund, which like 2 for 2. Just amazing. And I love how like Russo's like can't help himself but to make fun of someone. This old bag here. But Russo introduces the lady as Reed's 6th grade teacher from Charlotte. The teacher says that Reed is a hellion, terrible in his class, and he told his parents how he was a hellraiser. And he says she said that she wanted to call Reed's parents, but Reed gave her the number for his best friend, which is pretty smart. But Russo says listen to Miss Snodgrass as they're booing her. She says Reed taught the kids to make fluctuating noises, which is just fart noises, and put a shoe mirror on all boys' shoes so they could look up girls' dresses. I wrote, that's sexual assault, brother. And then the teacher says that he gets high too by sucking on helium. I don't know if that's the way it works, but I guess she's trying to say a whip it. And then it's a weird segment, guys. Russo says the star of the family is David, and he has a very special word. David gets on the mic and says, "Shut up." David says he hopes Reed is crying and says, "Next time you better listen to your mom and not do anything." David says, since he can't retire a father at the Great American Bash, David then challenges Reed at the Great American Bash. I don't know what the fuck we're doing, Logan.
I wish that match would happen, honestly. Not gonna lie.
Me too. Like, but just the Snodgrass stuff is just amazing. But like, what are we doing?
Man. This is just like dirt worst.
Yeah, it really is. But it's like so bad it's like entertaining type stuff. I don't know what that says about me. But Wolfpack music hits, out comes Nash. And then Nash gets the mic and says there isn't one person whose ass he wants to kick worse than Russo's. Says he has someone with him who wants a piece of Russo too. And out comes Scott Steiner with his freaks. I love how they each have their different entrances, Logan. I don't know why. Like we saw them walking together, and you think Scott was like, "I guess, hey, go out, Kevin. I'll come out in a minute." And however the fuck he talks, I got to be on Meese next to talk like Scott Steiner. And that's only when I try to be Nikita Koloff, and then I turn. Exactly. So they put on the goggles so they can't be maced, as Logan said. They beat down R&B security. Sorry, Elix Skipper and Chris Harris. They just beat all R&B security down very quickly. Russo shields himself by the teacher. He puts the teacher in front of him. Russo then pushes David into Nash, and Nash powerbombs David, which I thought was funny. David's still using his Snodgrass as a shield. Nash says, "We came down to talk to you and make a deal." Russo says, screw me and you're dead. Russo says, "You can leave and me and the woman." Nash just grabs Russo and starts choking him. Scott then gets fucking 6 inches away from him and screams, "We want a three-way dance with Nash and me versus Jarrett for the world title." Scott says scream like a bitch, and Russo screams, "You got it," which if Scott was fucking 6 inches away from me saying scream like a bitch while I was being choked, I guess I'd be fucking screaming as well, Logan. So that's our main event tonight, a triple threat match for the world title. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Heck of a way to get this main event. I thought Nash was pretty good in what he did, but the whole segment to that point is just insane. We have Reed Flair's quote unquote sixth grade teacher out here. Man, this is like the epitome of a Tim Capel, what are we doing kind of segment. So I do kind of guiltily want to see Reed and David go at it on the pay-per-view. I think there's a lot more money in that than Rick and David go at each other. So Reed using fucking amateur wrestling and going after David would be pretty funny. But and it would be something stupid enough for Russo to do. I mean, obviously, I think there's probably child labor laws or something like that would probably prevent him from doing it. But it would be very funny. But yeah, I also love how high pitched Russo got when he was like, "Yes, you can have it. Oh my God, please let me go." So,
scream, bitch.
Yes, sir. You can have your title match.
Yeah, that's exactly how he sounded. Steiner's terrifying, man. So we take a commercial break, and when we come back, Jeff is pissed, yelling at Russo and says, "Who do you think you are?" Tells you to fight like a man. Like there's 2-on-1 out there. Jeff is pissed. We see Shane is with Eric and the cat. Eric says, "I don't know who you think you are." Says Shane is on thin ice. Eric tells Shane to go get Funk and bring me his kidney, his ear, something. All right, that got dark. Filthy Animal music hits. They all come out carrying weapons. Conan gets on the mic and calls out the Misfits. Conan says we were the OG soldiers with no limit, and they actually say hootie hoo. No one wants to remember that, Conan. Let it die. K-Dog says WCW made bad investments like the Millionaire Club and the Misfits. And he says they will lead the Misfits lane worse than R&B security. Tony Lynn says this is an elimination match, which I don't know. I thought it was 4-on-4, Logan. But as we quickly find out, it's 3-on-4 because I guess Conan's fucking hurt. And so match three.
I was wondering, he just kind of disappeared, and I was like, did I miss him getting eliminated, or am I insane?
Yeah, I was like, did he get fucking teleported or something? Like, what's going on?
Both could be true, but I was very confused.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? So match three, like I said, Misfits Nation versus Filthy Animals elimination match. They rush the ring, and actually all 8 men start fighting there, but then Conan just fucks off. Misfits
next. Screw this.
Yeah, pretty much. He told him to peel his potatoes and toss a salad and bounce. MIA clears the ring, and all Misfits in action splash Disco in the corner. And then Major Guns rips her shirt off, and she looks like she's about to have Disco motorboat her, but that she just kicks him in the nuts, so he can't even get anything. And then the Filthy Animals pull Disco out after getting his ass beat. Lieutenant Loco and Hoovy start off. Hoovy chops Lieutenant Loco, and then Hoovy clotheslines Lieutenant Loco into the aisleway. Hoovy goes to splash Lieutenant Loco on the aisleway, but Loco backdrops Hoovy back in the ring. Hoovy lands on his feet. Lieutenant Loco then dives onto Hoovy and tags Corporal Cajun. Hoovy kicks Cajun, then Hoovy reverses. I guess something messed up, Logan, but he reverses a man move and tags to Ray. No idea what that is, so whatever. Cajun punches Ray and then clotheslines him. This gets 2. Cajun Irish whips Ray, and Ray slid under Cajun and tags to Hoovy. Cajun didn't see, and Hoovy hits a sunset flip, and while he was struggling to bring the sunset flip down, Ray drop kicked Cajun over. This gets a 2. Cajun attacks Hoovy, but Hoovy reverses an Irish whip into the corner. Hoovy went to jump on Cajun, but Cajun grabbed him and put him on the top turnbuckle. The ref was distracted, so Disco came in, and Hoovy hits an assisted powerbomb off the top rope with Disco's help. Not going to lie, this is pretty dope. Ref sees the pin, and Cajun is gone, so it's 3-on-3, despite me thinking it was 4-on-3. Rexion comes in and attacks everyone. We get a tag to Stash with Disco. Disco isn't even a legal man. Stash gets a 2 count. Stash hits a spine buster where Ray makes a save on the pin. Hoovy comes in and drop kicks Stash. Hoovy goes up top, but Stash hits the ropes to crotch Hoovy. Stash hits a Cobra clutch that gets 1. Disco grabs a kendo stick and hits all of MIA. Ray grabs a chair and does a butt bomb to Stash, and he's eliminated. Disco and Loco are in. Disco hits an atomic drop and a net breaker, but Loco hits a tornado DDT, and Disco's eliminated. I say it's 3-2. They originally said, but they say it's 2 versus 2. I guess Conan is hurt. Who fucking cares? It's Rexion and Loco versus Hoovy and Ray. Rexion and Ray pair off. So does Hoovy and Loco. Loco tried the tornado DDT, but Hoovy reversed it and went for the Hoovy driver. Loco reversed that and hit an inverted suplex, which was pretty nice. Loco tags to Rexion, and he hits the moonsault. Hoovy is eliminated. Sean Stasiak runs in and attacks MIA. Ray hits the Bronco Buster on Loco, and then out comes Booker T in military garb. He beats down the Filthy Animals and Sean Stasiak. We see the members of Filthy Animals and Misfits in action that were eliminated, fighting in the back. And the match just ends, Logan. And this is sadly probably the match of the night. And it just is weird from all fucking sides. Just weird.
Yeah, not a particularly bad match. I feel like there was a point where I want to say it was Rexion and Hoovy were in the ring. And they just it was Major Stash and or whatever his name is, Van Hammer, whatever his MIA name is. I think Major Stash is what he's called. But him and Hoovy were in the ring, and they like miscommunicated, and from there it just kind of fell into chaos. I think somebody was supposed to be pinned, and they didn't get pinned, and it got real weird. But yeah, the match wasn't bad for the most part. Really chaotic a lot of the time. It was a lot of in and out. Quick eliminations and stuff like that. But yeah, it just ends. Just nobody got pinned or anything like that to end the match. Stasiak just kind of comes out, starts attacking people, and then we have the returning Booker T come in to help save and kind of ward off Stasiak. So we'll hear more from Booker later. But yeah, not a terrible match, but yeah, definitely at a certain point kind of fell off. So definitely could have been better considering the competitors. But yeah, I think it sadly, like you said, kind of ends up being match of the night.
Yeah, but it's like, why not put Stasiak here? I know we're using Stasiak for something later, but like, put Cat in or something. Like, Jesus Christ. I know they're trying to sort of break off the filthy animals, but when you have Stasiak run out and help, it's like, what are we doing? So, all right. So then we're in the back with Eric, Billy, Horace, and Tori. Eric says he's tireless. He's not a counselor. Let's put an end to this. Eric said that Horace and Billy need to trust each other. And they said that Horace and Billy are tag team tonight. They just keep bickering. I mean, I'll be upset too if someone's trying to move in on fucking Tori Wilson when I'm the one dating Tori Wilson. But here we are. Then Kimberly keeps bitching to Liz about how Liz is useless and makes fun of Lex. Liz has enough, and she pushes Kim out of her seat and takes the baseball bat and leaves the room. Have a commercial break. We see Russo talking to Tank and Rick Steiner. We can't hear what they're saying. We see Shane looking for Funk. He calls him a sandbagging son of a bitch as he's looking for him, which I thought was funny. The perfect event, Chuck Palumbo comes out. We see how he broke Lex's face on Monday. And they basically say Lex will be gone indefinitely, Logan. So I guess they're writing Lex off for a little bit, which is weird. But Chuck does his Lex rip-off pose routine. And, yeah, it's very interesting. But out comes the Wall. We see Shane and the Wall issues from the past couple of weeks, how Shane walked out on Wall at the tag match and lost the tag titles because Wall was filling in for Buff, and then how they've been attacking each other. So match 4, the Wall versus Chuck Palumbo in a tables match. I didn't know it was a tables match, so they told us. So the men circle each other, and then Chuck punches the Wall 3 times. Wall responds to the headbutt. Wall then clotheslines Chuck, and for some reason covers him for 2. I don't know why. I know this made you main roster angry because you hate dumb refs. It pissed me off, Logan.
Yeah, definitely awful for sure.
It's like, what the fuck, man? But Wall suplexes Chuck, and then Wall drops Chuck net first on the ropes. Wall puts Chuck in a chokehold, and then he clotheslines him. Wall points to the table, and he tries to slam Chuck through the table. Not gonna lie, this probably would have killed poor Chuck because it would have been from the side, from like inside the ring to outside the ring, and I don't think he was gonna make that. And then Wall tries to slam Chuck, like I said, through the table. And then Chuck slides off and knocked Wall to the ropes and then charges him. Wall catches him by the throat and looks like he's about to choke slam him from the ring now, which would have been an amazing visual. But as I said before, would have killed him. But Chuck's able to get out, and Chuck is able to knock Wall in the apron. Wall then grabs Chuck and tries to suplex him from the apron to the table, but Chuck eye rakes him. Chuck then grabs the Lex Flexor and hits Wall in the head, and that knocks him off the apron, and he goes to the table for the win. After the match, the Wall gets up and chases after Chuck. I don't understand how we're supposed to make the Wall be this badass when he's losing his fucking own match, Logan. The table match is supposed to be his, and they're like, he can't stay down from the table. It's like, let this motherfucker win a tables match. It's like the Undertaker always losing the casket match. Yes, he's lost some, but damn, he's not losing all of them at the start. It's like if he lost to Kamala at SummerSlam. Yeah.
He didn't have a very good record in casket matches, but he did win a few throughout the years. So they kind of balance it out. But I mean, it just if you're gonna give this guy a specialty match or whatever, he needs to win them every now and then. And I know most of the time he kind of gets his heat back after the match and puts his opponent through a table to kind of get some back. But yeah, I'm glad you pointed out that he almost committed homicide a couple of times, because that's definitely in my notes. He tries to choke slam him from the ring through the table. Then he tries to suplex him from the ring to the through the table, which I think both would have killed poor Palumbo. So though it would have been really cool to see him pull those moves off, I'm glad old Chucky didn't have to take that spot there. But obviously, Palumbo continues to use the flexor to kind of help him win matches, and he kind of knocks him out off the apron through the table to get the pin. But yeah, we'll see. Like you said, they said Lex was going to be out for a while. We'll see if he actually does disappear. I kind of don't think he does. He'd be out for a bit, but I definitely know he's back. at some point. So, but yeah, Wall definitely needs to start winning some of these matches if they're going to continue to present him or as like this is his specialty or whatever. So, because obviously it's not, because I don't think he's won one yet, or if he has, he's won like maybe one or two.
Yeah, as much as they're having him, like he's been losing them
Weekly,
you know?
yeah. I mean, he's lost the
he lost one on Monday.
Yeah, true.
He lost 2 in a week because he had that awesome bump against Awesome.
Yeah.
So
definitely a problem.
So we see Eric. Yeah, it is. It's a big problem. So we see Eric talking to Horace, and Kimberly comes to tell Eric that she lost Liz. Eric says, "Well, you need to go find Liz," which made me laugh. He's like, "I'm not helping you." Eric's had enough of this shit tonight, guys. Probably in real life as well. So we have a commercial break. We see the Tori, Horace, and Kidman drama. Tori, Eric, Horace, and Kidman all come out. Eric gets on the mic and says, "You people put a smile on my face and a song in my heart." He says, "Speaking of songs, at Great American Bash on June 11th, it'll be known the day the music died." He's talking about Hulk Hogan's music. Flair's gone. Hogan will be gone. And Eric says, "The team that you see here, we are one big happy family." Horace gets on the mic and says he's been in the company for 3 years and seen Hogan ruin careers. Eric snatches the mic back and says he's proud of this new blood family and issues a challenge to anyone in the back. Chronic comes out. Eric says no problem. I guess this is a non-title match, Logan, as we'll see. But match 5, Chronic versus Kidman and Horace. Chronic hits a double shoulder block on Kidman. Adams then hits Kidman with an elbow. They ask Eric who'll be the special ref for the Great American Bash. He doesn't answer. Kidman ducks a clothesline and hits a drop kick. Kidman rushes Adams and is caught and hit with a backbreaker. Adams chokes Kidman. Then he's thrown in the corner. Kidman hits sliced bread number 2. Kidman tries to attack Horace, but Horace walks away to the other side of the ring apron. Chronic now double team Kidman because what's a show without Kidman being punked out? They hit a full Nelson slam on Kidman. Clark press slams Kidman, but he's able to wiggle out and he tries to put a sleeper hold on Clark, but Kidman's thrown like a rag doll off of him. Kidman's thrown in the corner, but he's able to get on the top rope and he jumps on Clark's face and he's punching his head and then he hits a Hurricane Rana. Kidman goes once again to tag Horace, but Horace walks away. Eric gets off in commentary and asks what he's doing, and Horace pushes Eric. Chronic hits a double military press on Kidman, just destroys him. Eric has a chair now, and he's in the ring, and Horace rips the chair away from Eric, and he threatens him. While this is happening, Chronic hits high times on Kidman. Like I said, everyone's in the ring. Horace tells Clark that he's about to hit Kidman with the chair, but of course, Horace hits Clark with the chair, and Kidman falls on him for the pin. Me and Tony both don't know if it's a tag title match, but it's just so bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah. I know Tony Schiavone doesn't talk very, glowingly about this time period. He talks about how he felt like, it was circling the turd circling the toilet bowl towards the end of the WCW run, especially during a lot of Russo's time when he's gone back with Conrad and watched some of the stuff. But yeah, this is another instance of Kidman just absolutely getting destroyed for most of the match by a tag team. And back to the Schiavone thing, like they have no clue. They talk about the whole match, whether it's a tag team title match or not. And even I think Bischoff's even on commentary throughout this, and he doesn't give any clue into whether it is or not. So I don't even think Chronic come out with the belts either. So like obviously, it's not a tag.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's not a tag team title match because obviously they don't even come off the belts. So obviously they're not planning on losing them or anything like that. So yeah, but somehow Kidman and Horace get the win. Despite the fact that, like I said, Kidman gets killed most of the match and Horace seemingly bails on Kidman for most of the match, but finally comes in and uses the weapon. So, yeah, not probably good to have your tag team champions lose to two people that don't like each other and are fighting over a girl. Yeah, so not very good.
Just have fucking Harlem Heat. Like they supposedly broke up last time we saw them, but fuck. They might have been released, or at least Big T, but fuck. Just someone, like
Have Stevie Ray and Cash come
someone.
out.
Yeah, like what are we doing? So we then go backstage and we see Norman and Ralph is talking, and Shane shows up. Shane asks where Funk is, and Norman says that he left. Shane hits Norman and says Ralph is going to help him save some face tonight. Have a commercial break. We see that Shane and Ralphus, they come out. Shane makes Ralphus get in the ring. Shane has Ralphus on his knees and I guess about to blow him, but Shane starts beating him down. Wall's music hits and he comes out and they fight. They trade punches and Wall hits a big boot. They battle around ringside. Shane gets in control. Norman comes out to help Ralphus, and then Shane's on the ring apron and he jumps off the ring apron to Wall, but Wall catches him and hits a choke slam through the announce table. Norman and Ralphus leave. So that's the end of that. So Shane, not a good night for old franchise tonight.
Yeah, not his best for sure. He definitely had a rough one throughout the night. So yeah, he's definitely not the New Blood's favorite soldier tonight.
Yeah. So we have Booker with MIA in the back. Mean Gene asks him, what's going on? I thought you were fired. Booker T says he's no longer Booker T and he's GI Bro. GI Bro says Booker is dead and says Shawn Stasiak will be his first victim. Can you copy that? That real rough, Logan. I'm a Booker T fan, and even I know that real rough, Logan.
You knew he hated saying that when it came out of his mouth. He knew he was trying to get.
I hated hearing
over.
it.
Yeah, oh, I know, but I'm just saying, Booker just hated saying that, but he was trying to do the best with what he was given at this point. So, I think he had curried favor with Russo to this point. So, we'll see if he continues to get in his good grip. I mean, backstage, of course, but yeah, I don't think this character will last very, very long because I don't think Booker would have ever let it. It's going to be a 7 kind of situation. Booker is just going to come out on Nitro 1 week and be like, they gave me this stupid ass gimmick and it fucking sucked. And it just bad all around.
I know it lasts to Great American Bash, but obviously I know it ends by Bash at the Beach, so it's got to be somewhere in there. So probably a couple more weeks that we have to deal with this, sadly. Just real rough. But we see Russo and Jarrett. Russo says it's all under control. Russo says it's going to be taken care of New York style, whatever the hell that means. No commercial break. And then we see our 2 challengers for the evening, and Nash is reading the USA Today, which made me think of Impact Logan.
Yeah.
And Scott's doing push-ups with a freak on his back. Just amazing.
Look at that Mark doing
this man
push-ups.
gets freaks. This man gets freaks 8 days a week. And then we see Kimberly go up to R&B security, and she makes them both go look for Liz, and she makes Chris Harris go get her new lotion or something, whatever. But Shawn Stasiak music hits, and GiI's Bro music hits, so leads us to match 6. Shawn Stasiak versus GI Bro. Shawn attacks GI as soon as he gets in the ring, and then he chokes GI in the corner. Sorry, I gotta. Yeah, just how I did it, guys. Shawn hits an elbow, then some kind of weird kick to GI that works. Shawn chokes GI Bro on the ropes. GI Bro starts choking Shawn with his fatigues, actually. And then Shawn tries to escape the ring. GI Bro hits an axe kick, and then he throws Shawn back in the ring. GI slams Shawn's head on the turnbuckle, and then goes for 10 punches in the corner, but he gets to 7. But then Shawn drops GI Bro throat first on the ropes. Shawn then stomps GI Bro and punches him around the ring and throws him out of the ring. Shawn slams GI Bro on the announce table, which it's just like one of those normal tables they have set up now, and he slams him into the guardrail. Shawn throws GI Bro in the ring, and he goes up top and hits a top rope clothesline, which is actually pretty decent. They got 2. Shawn went for a suplex, but GI Bro reversed it into a pin for 2. Shawn gets a clothesline, and he gets a 2, and then he gets a headlock on GI Bro. The crowd rallies GI Bro to battle out, but Shawn stops him with a punch to the back of his head. Shawn hits a gut wrench suplex and gets 2. Sean goes out of the ring and grabs a chair. GiI Bro ducks a chair shot and kicks Sean. GiI Bro then hits a side kick and gets 2. Sean reverses a suplex attempt. He tried a perfect plex, but GiI Bro fought out of it. Then he hits the rock bottom and wins. After the match, Sean hits GiI Bro with the chair after the match, hits him with the match, and then just continues to beat down with the chair and his feet. So an okay match, Logan. Stasiak's not the best in the ring, but it's weird that where we're going with this, we have Stasiak lose clean already. The GiI Bro. I know we're trying to put a character over, but I'm pretty sure this match is made for the pay-per-view later. And he just did a clean pinfall.
Yeah. So you're basically kind of giving it away without completely giving it away at the same time. My note with this is it was solid, but kind of uninspiring at the same time. Stasiak's not one of those guys that works a super exciting style or anything like that. And Booker is capable, but he needs to kind of be in there with the right guy, and Stasiak's probably not that person to get a good match to that point. And obviously with everything in this era, it didn't get a ton of time. So he does win with the bookend. I think he's been doing that for a good bit now, but I think they're really trying to establish that as kind of his finisher at this point. So good to see that. But yeah, like I said, solid, but kind of uninspiring at the same time. But yeah, we'll see if it does get made for the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So we have a commercial break. I guess it's called the Bro End now. If it's the bookend, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess that's true. The
G End. I don't know. But we have a commercial break, and we see that Sting and Tenay had an interview. Tenay says the Vampiro feud is more mental than physical. Stingland says Vampiro doesn't mean anything to me. Sting says he's learned all his tricks. Sting says he's playing mind games. Sting says he'll continue to one-up Vampiro until Vampiro runs out of one-ups. Tenay asks Sting what he sees in Vampiro. Sting says 10 years ago he was sick and twisted as Vamp. And as someone who watched wrestling from that time, I can confirm that was not the case, Logan. Sting was not twisted and sick, but all right. Tenay says that Vamp is getting the mental edge in the war. Sting's starting to get frustrated by this, and they talk about the Human Torch match. Stingland says he's not getting under my skin, Mike. Sting asks if Tenay is trying to scare him. Sting says the match is stupid, but he won't turn down a challenge, which made me laugh. Tenay then asks a question, but the lights go out, and it sounds like Vampiro had jumped Sting. And then we see that the interview area has been lit on fire. Sting tries to put out the fire. So that's how we move this match along. At least Vampiro isn't getting squashed this week, or at least not physically, but kind of verbally, Logan.
Yeah, at least he didn't get bitched out. Yeah, like you said, physically. Yeah, Sting does put him down pretty hard, but veterans in this business at this point are going to do what they're going to do, and that's just kind of what they do. So, but yeah, not much happens. They set the he sets the set on fire and all that, but just kind of a time killer kind of segment, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, like they could have just, I don't know. Yeah,
they just could have had to beat Vampiro's ass, for the 15th week in a row.
Yeah. So we have Mean Gene with Kimberly, and Kimberly says she's chased around all after the stupid girl. Says her day has been terrible, and then Liz jumps Kimberly and starts choking her. DDP comes out and he says, "Good God," and starts talking on the mic. He calls out Eric Bischoff, says, "I got 3 words for you. You really suck." Yeah, I can't do it as good as him. He says he heard how Bischoff said he made DDP. DDP says, "I made me by busting my ass in spite of you." Calls Eric a rat bastard. Says Eric turned Kimberly against me, and talks how Canyon got taken out by Mike Awesome. DDP says Mike Awesome is exactly. DDP says Mike Awesome is stupid. Lizland drags Kimberly out. Liz puts Kimberly in DDP's lap and he spanks her for all the bad stuff he's done. This got to be some sexual thing. And then as we see Liz walking away on the ramp, Chuck grabs her in the background. And then Mike Awesome goes up on the Tron and he's in Canyon's hotel room. He tells DDP he will take care of Canyon and says that Canyon will not feel a thing. And also, this is a nice little attention to detail, which is weird with Russo. He thanks the camera crew for coming with him, but they have to leave now. It's just going to be him and Canyon on alone time, which I thought was pretty funny. We probably could have taken away from certain things with this, right? To make this a little bit longer instead of split up.
Yeah. I definitely think so. I did think that was pretty funny. When Awesome kind of says, "Oh, thanks guys for coming along," but me and Canyon need some alone time for now, and he's gonna beat his ass seemingly. But yeah, DDP and Kim must have like an embarrassment, like kink at this point. They definitely seem to like seemingly not emasculate. Emasculate's the wrong word, but they seemingly like to like embarrass each other on the air often enough because this is obviously something that Kim kind of gets, she gets spanked obviously, but she kind of gets embarrassed in this situation. So definitely must be some kind of thing that they get off on. But DDP and Awesome could be a really good match at the pay-per-view. So we'll see what happens with that when we get there.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. We see Jeff Jarrett walking backstage with the guitar, and then Scott and Kevin walking together. We got a commercial break. They say during the commercial break, DDP was on the phone. He called security at Canyon's hospital. I mean, Canyon's probably dead by now, for being honest. Just put an air bubble in there and he's dead. But Russo comes out with Jeff. We got 8 minutes left. Russo is on commentary. Scott Steiner's music hits. Russo says he has an announcement when Scott gets in the ring. Russo gets on the mic and says, "Cut the music." 7 minutes left. He calls out Billy Silverman. Russo says he will ref the match. Kevin Nash then comes out. We got 6 minutes left, guys. This is like the start of the Russo era Nitros when they're running out of time, Logan. 6 minutes left. Russo runs away when Nash comes out, and Nash runs right after Russo. It's match 7, Jeff Jarrett versus Kevin Nash for Scott Steiner for the world title. Jeff attacks Scott, and he's punching Scott. Scott reverses an Irish whip, and he clotheslines Jeff. He then military presses Jeff as well and slams him. Nash makes his way back into the ring. Scott punches Jeff in the corner, and Nash is like choking Jeff at the same time. It's pretty nice. Russo and R&B security then come out. Scott and Nash continue to double team Jeff. Scott goes after Russo and R&B security. Tank and Rick come out and they have the freaks. So Scott takes off, just leaving. My note here is so much is happening, which it is. It's crazy. Kevin is choking Jeff in the ring. Russo tries to hit Nash with the bat, but Nash grabs the bat and he hits Russo. Nash then goes to powerbomb Russo, but Jeff hits Nash with the bat. Jeff continues to beat down Nash with the bat. Jeff punches Nash in the corner. Nash comes out of the corner and tried to hit Jarrett with the clothesline, but Jeff pulled Billy Silverman, who was still the ref, into Nash's way. Jeff then got the belt and tried to hit Nash. Nash ducked the belt shot and took the belt away. Nash hits Jeff with the belt. Then Nash goes to wake up the ref. Nash pins Jeff, but Russo pulls the ref out of the ring. Russo then hits Billy Silverman with the guitar, so that's 1. Jeff hits Nash with the chair. Russo puts on the ref shirt and gets a 2 count. R&B and security isn't allowing Mickey J to come to the ring to be the replacement ref, but then Scott comes back up and he clotheslines all of security. You guys have seen this gif. It's the one where Scott's literally running down the aisle, just clotheslining like 30 members of fucking R&B security on both sides. It's so bad it's good type situation, guys.
Great.
Yeah. Scott clotheslines Jeff back into the ring because he was on the aisle, and Scott runs after Russo. This allows Nash to powerbomb Jeff, and Nash wins. Another fucking title change, for fuck's sakes. That means since Nitro a week ago, we've had Russo to Jeff. No, sorry. Flair to Jeff. Flair winning it from Jeff. Fake it. Jeff being awarded it. Then Nash is beating fucking Jeff. That's 4 title changes in 4 shows, Logan. And you said it's only going to get worse from here? It's hurting my brain. This match was overbooked as fuck. You don't need all this. You have 3 great talent in there. Nash is
Yeah,
the best wrestler, but he'll know how to work a fucking match. Like, what are we doing? Like,
let
Jeff
him
isn't
cook.
someone bad either.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, honestly, the only really note I put down is this is an absolutely overbooked mess. Yeah, Steiner's entertaining, taking out all the security guards, chasing after Russo and all that. And Nash being champion is interesting for sure. But again, yeah, this whole story and stuff like that is a mess. We have no indication of who's going to face each other at the pay-per-view. Like, is it going to be Nash and Jarrett? Is it going to be, a rematch of this match? Is it going to, it's just, it doesn't make much sense. And you don't get any real indication of where we're headed. We do get more title changes between now and Great American Bash, despite the fact that we're only 3 shows away.
Jesus Christ.
But just wait for Monday, I guess is all I'll say. But yeah, just insanity that we've had as many title changes that we have recently. I'll just say this: Nash does not lose the title, but he doesn't lose it in a match. I'll say. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, of course he doesn't, because Nash learned from, or Shawn Michaels learned from Nash, or Nash learned from Shawn Michaels to never lose a title. But yeah, that brings us into another episode. But before we get out, we got some awards. Most absurd. I got another world title change, Logan.
I'm gonna go to Mrs. Snodgrass in that whole segment.
All right, yeah. All right. What was good? I said barely MIA versus Filthy Animals.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Not much good on this one, honestly.
No, and you know what's funny is like people bitch about current product, and we're not going to talk about current product, but they're like, this is WCW 2000 bad. As someone who's watching WCW 2000, I can tell you nothing in the current product is WCW 2000 bad. There might be a segment here and there or a storyline, but it's not a whole fucking show that is bad.
Correct. Yeah, I mean they're kind of doing the whole corporate, thing that Russo kind of does at certain points in his run, where they're like cutting the shoot promos on the the corporation or whatever. But yeah, at least the wrestling is somewhat good in the ring, despite the fact that they may be going in on themselves and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing modern day is touching this.
Yeah, like when people say that, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on, like,
yeah.
Trust me, as someone who's watched 45 episodes of this, nothing. Like you said, we get good wrestling matches. We didn't get that then. But sorry, my rant aside, what was bad? I just put the main event. Like,
yeah, and the opener too. Just continuing to put Daphne out there despite not having been trained whatsoever, seemingly, to wrestle.
Two champions fucking winning like by luck with really make your titles. So we had 7 matches tonight, guys. 1 clean finish, and then 6 non-clean or non-finishes. 0 pole matches. We got 5 pole matches still overall. I think it's going to really ramp up in the summer, like I said. 5 gimmick matches tonight. We're now at 143 gimmick matches. 1 guitar shot. We're at 42 guitar shots now. Yes, I verified that. 1 title change hand tonight. We're now up to 54 different title changes, Logan, and we've done 45 episodes. Do you think it will ever even out?
No. I think it's only going to get worse.
And I didn't ask you this before, but did you mark down how many different things happened?
I did not before the episode, but I caught myself as we kind of started. 35 things happened.
35, Logan? That's the most we've had in a while. Holy shit, balls.
Craziness. And I could have been, if you were getting real granular, you could say like 16 things happened in that main event because that's how much of an overbooked mess it was. So I could have gotten a little more in the weeds on that one, but 35 was my count that I got. So
actually, I misspoke. 40 things happened on Nitro. So there we go.
That's a lot for a Thunder, though.
Yeah. That is a lot for a Thunder. Yeah, that's a lot for a Thunder. So but that brings an end to another episode of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? Join us in 2 weeks for the 5/29/2000 Nitro. That sounds like the Memorial Day Nitro, which will probably be something that will make me second guess things. But yes, but we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for listening. Be positive.
Bye.